It's not his first rodeo.
Eddie Zemmel, years ago.
It's not his first. Put it this way: it's not his first rodeo.
Okay. Starting in the Maseches Chullin. We think Hashem that able to learn Torah every day. It's supposed to have a learning. We should have the Beis Hamikdash immediately. Some of the excitement of Chullin is that this is the Masechta. You want to get smicha. So you have to learn Masechta. You're not looking for smicha. Okay, Hakol Sheichten. But now we're talking about not the shechita of Kadshim, which we're learning about in Zvachim, but here we're talking about Hakol Sheichten. That even for Chullin, it's Masechta Chullin, even for mundane animals, anyone can shecht. Why does it have to say Hakol? The Gemara is going to tell us that it's two possible opinions. One is Hakol. What do you mean everyone? Well, who are you coming to include with everyone? Either it's coming to include someone that's tamei, that can also shecht. We don't have a concern that he's going to touch the meat. And we're talking about by Chullin. Chullin shenas al taras hakedesh. Remember that concept? Someone that wants to keep his Chullin pure. There's such a concept of, even though it wasn't kachim, he wanted to practice. He wanted to keep all his food pure. Nevertheless, he's allowed to shecht even if he's tamei. Or it could be coming to include a kuti. Right? Kuti can shecht. Kuti was someone that wasn't part of the part of the tribe.
The ones that are converted on false pretenses because of the lions.
If they shech, the shechita is going to be kosher. We're going to get into trouble with that line. Because if they can shech, then of course it's going to be kosher. Kol shech means l'chatchila they can shech. Shtasim kasher means if they shech, then it's kosher b'diavad. So of course it's kosher b'diavad if you're allowed to do it l'chatchila. But the exception of mecher sheita v'katan, shem yikalkalu hashchitasan, a deaf mute, a sheita, an imbecile, or a child, they cannot shech because they may mess up the shechita. How do you mess up a shechita? There's 5 ways of messing up a shechita. There's shihia. Yeah.
Going in between.
Good morning.
Good
morning. Very good. We just started the Mishnah. We're holding by Shemi Yakalkala Shchitasan that the Cher Shaitim V'Katan may mess up the shechita by one of the 5 halacha l'meisha misinais. That a shechita would be possible, which are shihia, which means in the middle of the shechita he takes a rest, he pauses. Then the next one is drasa, if instead of going in a back and forth motion he presses down. Then there's chalada, where it's hidden inside. He puts the knife under the skin. Agrama is he goes from underneath and he works his way up. He goes under the way up. And ikar is if he rips out from the socket. So that's how he may mess it up. But
what's the last one?
Ikar.
Rips out.
Ikar is if he rips it out either from the top or from the bottom, the pipes. And even these people that are not allowed to shecht, but if they're being watched and other people see that they did it properly, it's still going to be kosher. Okay, the Gemara starts like this: Hakol sheichten lechatchila. When you said Hakol sheichten, obviously means that lechatchila, yeah, you can go ahead and shecht everyone. Now, whoever we're including there, we didn't learn yet. I mean, the Gemara is going to say later who we're including, but whoever that is allowed to do it lechatchila. And then you say v'shchitasan kshera. Then you say that it's kosher if it was done. That means diavad. So what's going on? Is it lechatchila or is it b'diavad? Amalei Ravacha Breder Rava Ravashi. To Ravacha, Breder Rava says to Ravashi to answer this contradiction: lechatchila or b'diavad. what's going on over here? It says, he answers the question with a question. Because it says hakol, that means that it's lechatchila. Every time it says hakol, it's always lechatchila. And now you have a question because it says chitzas and ksheira is b'diavad. Hakol means everyone that shech. Hakol shech. Everyone can shech. Everyone can shech. There's lechatchila. Gemara is challenging that. It says maybe when it says everyone can shech, maybe it really means everyone can shecht in a way that if they shecht, it's going to be kosher. Not that they're supposed to, but everyone can shecht in a b'diavad way. That once it's done, it's going to be kosher. That's the challenge over here, because it says hakol shecht. It means everyone can shecht. If you just take it like that, it means go ahead. You're allowed to. The Gemara is challenging that. Ravacha, Breder Rava is saying maybe not. Maybe hakol. Maybe hakol means that you can shecht in a way that if it was done already, it's going to be good, but not that you really should go ahead and do it. Elameyata, if that's the case that it's lechatchila, what about the other Mishnah, which says hakol meimirim, the first Mishnah in Tamura, hakol meimirim, anyone can do Tamura. Tamura is when you exchange one animal for another animal, one carbon for another animal, which is against the halacha. You're not allowed to do Tamura. And it says, Echara Nashim, Echara Nashim, whether men or women. You want to tell me that Hakol Meimirim and everyone is allowed to lechatchila? Can't be lechatchila. It says you're not allowed to. Play in the pasuk that you're not allowed to. So what do we mean Hakol Meimirim? That means anyone that does it, it's going to be effective. Maybe over here, Hakol Sheichten means it's going to be effective. That it's going to be shchitas and ksheira. It doesn't mean you're allowed to. When it says Hasam Keduktani Taima, over there the Mishnah spells that out. Lo yishadam rashai lahamer el shem heimer mumar v'sefikas arbaim. Not that you're allowed to, but if you did it, then it's effective, and you get malchus. So what do we mean now? That typically it would be lechatchila. Hakol means lechatchila, that yes, you are allowed to. Over there by Tamura, since the Mishnah says clearly that this hakol doesn't mean lechatchila, so then it's different. But in a typical case, hakol would be lechatchila. So now we have the contradiction. So the Gemara says, what do you want to say? That every time it says hakol, it's always lechatchila? What about the next one? Meimirin was definitely not lechatchila, but we said, okay, but the Mishnah spells that out. What about another case where the Mishnah doesn't spell it out? You want to say lechatchila? What's the other case? Marichen means that anyone can pledge the erech of someone else. That means that if someone says that the erech of this and this person, erech means a value. The value of this and this person uses the term erech, then he has to pay his value based on his age and gender.
It's like Erechin all over again.
Yeah, Erechin. So, the Nerachin, and they could also be valuated. They could also be evaluated. That means that someone can say about any person that your value is upon me. Everyone can do it, and everyone can say about someone else. And everyone could be the one that someone said about them, that his value is pledged. Right? Ma'arichin v'nerachin. Noijin v'nidarin. Noijin is when you say the me'alai. You don't use the term erech. The difference is if one is based on the age and one is based on how much he would be valued as a slave. So, in hachanami de lachatchila, do you want to say that that's what you're supposed to actually do? Lachatchila, you should do marichin, you should pledge this value. But we have a pasuk that says, if a person will stop vowing, then he won't have sin. That means you're not supposed to take vows. When you cease from vowing, then you don't have sin. It's better, the pasuk in Kehillah says, it's better not to take any vows than to vow and to pay, than to vow and not pay. Vitanya, and we have a brisa that says, what's even better than both of those is shein and the kalikar. Divrei Meir. Toiv mizeh umizeh. Toiv mizeh umizeh. You see, we have to throw in what's better than taking a vow and paying it, and what's better than taking a vow and not paying it is not to take any vows. We didn't say that in the text, but that's what it means.
It's funny how this is so different than non-Talmudic sayings like better to have loved than lost than never to have loved at all. It's just totally different here.
Huh.
Totally different meaning.
We may agree with that, though.
What?
We may agree with that.
Well, still, it just sounded like that, so just hit me.
From the story with Rabbi Losa ben Azariah, where he told his wife. His wife said, "Don't take the job because there's a high turnover rate in the yeshiva. They just got rid of Rabbi Gamliel. You'll probably be next." So he said, "But you use crystal glasses, even though they're going to break. So I'll take the job while it lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts."
Better to come to one day of Daf Yomi than never to have come to even one day. Advertisement has been non-paid.
Than to come and stop. Better than, let's say. Okay. So
They expect a larger crowd.
Reb Meir says that it's better not to take any vows than to even than to vow and to pay it. And Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, take mizeh mizeh, neider mishalim. No, Rabbi Yehuda says what's best is to take a vow and pay it is better than not to take any vow. Now, okay, so now 1 second. What we're trying to say is that when we say hakol marichin and hakol neidrin, I want to say that the person that's taking the pledge, that how could it be lachatchila? Can't say it's lachatchila. You shouldn't be taking any pledges. You shouldn't be accepting on yourself any of these things because it's not good to take these vows. So as well, Rabbi Yehuda says that it is good to take a vow. So maybe it does mean lachatchila according to Rabbi Yehuda. It says afilu Rabbi Yehuda like kamer ala ba'imar harizu. Even Rabbi Yehuda that says that it's good to take a vow, that's not a vow where you accept on yourself the responsibility. It's only a vow where you don't accept that responsibility. Because there's a difference between Harei Alai and Harei Zu. When you say Harei Alai, then you're accepting on yourself that whether it gets lost or not, you still have to pay it. Harei Zu is when you're pledging an item, and then if it gets lost, so okay, the item is lost. I would have given it, but I'm sorry, it just disappeared. So then there's no responsibility. That's when Rabbi Yehuda says it's okay. Aval it's Harei Zu, Avalam Harei Alai Lai. So even he would say it's not. So how could you tell me that hakol means lechatchila when we hakol sheichten means lechatchila when you have another Mishnah that says hakol marichin, and obviously that's not lechatchila. That's only a b'diavad. Okay. So now we're thinking that when it says hakol, that whenever everyone can do something, then that does not mean that they should go ahead and do it. That just means that if they did it, it's going to be effective. That's where we're holding now. We were thinking that hakol means b'diavad. The Gemara asks, but kol hakol lab lechatchila. So now hakol is not lechatchila. Okay, yeah.
It just came to me, that by of us, there's only 3 lashonas: vakol, kol, and mikol. Yeah. But there is no hakol. And here we're talking about there must be a reason why none of them use that hakol.
Interesting.
And we have explanations what was the difference, but
right.
It wasn't the flow.
Interesting. So what do you want to say? When it says everyone is obligated to build a sukkah, you want to say that it's not lechatchila, that they shouldn't go ahead and do it. It's only if they had a sukkah that they should that they were yotza mitzvah, but they really shouldn't be. Or hakol chayim b'tzitzis means they really shouldn't be making tzitzis. But if they had the tzitzis, then they were yotza the mitzvah. That's what you want to say. The Gemara says no. Chayavin like hamina. The term hakol chayavin is obvious that means you're obligated. That means you have to go ahead and do it. That wasn't our question. We're asking when it doesn't say chayavin. Is it possible that hakol is not lechatchila? Elameyata hakol semchen. When it says that everyone can do smicha on a sacrifice, on a korban, where you lean on it, before the animal is sacrificed. Echad anashim v'echad anashim, whether men or women can do smicha. How do they explain this? I thought we said that the women don't do smicha. Is there an explanation for that in the commentaries?
The reason women don't do smicha is for something else.
I thought it was based on the pasuk. I see on the side there's a comment here from Yeshaya Pick, Yeshaya Berlin. It says that it doesn't say this anywhere in Shas that women can do smicha. Even those that allow it, which is Rabbi Yisrael and Rabbi Shimon, they don't say that they should. They just said that it was okay. Yeah, is there a comment on that? That they explain? No?
They're not supposed
They do
to.
explain it? Do they ask the question or they another Mishnah that excludes? Oh, so they asked the question.
I thought the reason is because they could possibly be in a state of tumor, and even though they might do shchita, they can't touch the animal, and they would then let everyone know that this is the time. And it would so.
1 second, women can't do shchita?
They can do shchita.
Yeah.
They just don't do shchita.
Uh-huh. That was the first Taisus.
Because they might touch the animal, and if they're in the wrong state. And then we had the thing with the long knives will come up. And
yeah, okay, but
So the word, both men and women seem to have been included in the picture.
inadvertently. That's what they're saying, that this is inadvertently added. Yeah. You don't buy it? Okay.
Speaking of with Maseches Hashas.
Yeah, it's actually not the Maseches Hashas. It's in the Maseches Hashas, but it's in the brackets in the Maseches Hashas, which is not the same author. It's the brackets is Rabbi Shaya Pick. It's Rabbi Shaya Berlin. Different author.
I really want
Yeah, this is the same pick. So it says, what do you want to say? That when it says Hakol, it doesn't mean Lechatchila. That's where we were headed, because we said Hakol Mimirin was clearly not Lechatchila. It's okay with that. The Mishnah says that it's not Lechatchila. It says Hakol Marichin V'Naydrin isn't Lechatchila, because we said it's better not to take any vows. And even Rabbi Yehuda that says yes, but not that type of vow. So it means just that it's effective. So we want to say that a kol doesn't mean lechatchila. He said, what about a kol chayavin? That's obviously lechatchila. We said, no, chayavin we're not talking about. So he says, okay, but what about a kol saimchen? That's clearly lechatchila. It's a pasuk that says that you should do smicha. The Gemara says in. You're correct. Ika kol lechatchila, vika kol diavad. There's no rule about this. There's no rule. Sometimes a kol is lechatchila, that this yutaka should do it. And then sometimes a kol means b'diavad, that everyone can do this. What do you mean everyone can do this? Not that you're supposed to, but if it was done, it was effective. Yeah? So then the question is, we started with the question. Said that there's a contradiction in the Mishnah. The Mishnah starts off saying that everyone is lachatchila allowed to go ahead and shecht. And we're including in that some other people that we thought maybe were not allowed. We said no, lachatchila they're allowed to go. Then we said shchitasan kashera, that if they shecht, it's going to be kosher b'diavad. So we asked the question: are they lachatchila allowed to shecht, or is it only b'diavad? We asked the contradiction. So now the Gemara is holding by saying that who says that akol is lachatchila? Maybe akol is b'diavad. And now you don't have a contradiction. Akol shecht, and anyone that shechts, it's going to be kosher. Shchitasan kasher, if they shecht, it's kosher. It's not a contradiction anymore. The Gemara says, why are you making it into a question by saying it's l'chatchila? Dilma di'avad v'lei tikshilach. Amalei. So Rav Acha responds, it's Rav Acha Brei Rava, Ana shchitasan kashera kashli. No, my problem is not I have no problem saying that hakol means b'diavad. That everyone can shecht means only after the fact it's acceptable. Not that you're supposed to. I have no problem saying that. The problem is that the Mishnah goes on and says, shchitasen kasher, and if they shecht, it's kosher. 1 second. Midiktani shchitasen kasher. Once you say it's shecht, it's kosher, b'diavad, that means if you shecht, it's kosher. That means after the fact it's kosher. That means that hakol lechatchilahu. Hakol shechten must mean that you're lechatchila allowed to shech. Why? Didi eved, taiti di eved lamali. Why do you have to repeat saying that if they shecht, it's kosher? Look, if it would say hakol shechten means bidi eved. Everyone can shecht, that means that after they shecht, it's valid. Not that they're supposed to, but after they shecht, it's valid. And if they shecht, it's valid. So you just told me twice that after they shecht, it's valid. Why do you have to say it twice? It must be that the first one was telling me that lechatchila they're allowed to. The second one is telling me that b'di eved it was kosher. Now we get to Rav Acha Breder Rava's question that if they're lechatchila allowed to, so why do you have to tell me that b'di eved it's kosher? Of course, I know for sure that it's not repeating itself. That it's telling me a chiddush. Hakol shechten is lechatchila, but why do you have to say shchitasen k'sheira? If it's lechatchila, then of course it's b'di eved. Amar Rabba Bar Ula Hachiktani. Rabba Bar Ula says this is the pshat. Hakol shechten. What do we mean that everyone can shecht? Afilu tamei b'chulin. Even someone that's tamei can shecht chulin. We're talking about tamei b'chulin, ma'ila meimra. Of course, he's allowed to shecht chulin. There's no prohibition to make food tamei. You're allowed to make food tamei. Well, you're not allowed to make truma tamei. You're not allowed to make kachim tamei. But regular chulin, mundane food, there's no problem with making it tamei. So the Gemara answers, "Bechulin shenasu al taras hakodesh." We're talking about food that's kept to a very high standard, kept to taras hakodesh. That means we're keeping it as if it's a carbon. We're keeping it holy as if it's a carbon. This person sometimes eats carbonas, and he wants to practice keeping his. He brought with you a chulin. You have the new Masechta.
Don't beat yourself up.
I didn't finish the old one yet.
What do you have there? The okay.
We'll get you
Give him the.
Don't worry.
Give him,
We'll get you the. Don't worry. Don't fret.
We always have you covered.
Don't fret.
B'di eved counts here.
So, we're saying now, chulin shenasu al taras hakodesh. The Savar, and we're of the opinion that chulin shenasu al taras hakodesh k'kodesh tami. That chulin shenasu al taras hakodesh, if someone accepts on himself to keep all his food holy, because he sometimes eats kachim, so he wants to keep everything holy. So the rule is that he actually has to keep it holy. But nevertheless, if he wants to go ahead and shecht when he's tamei, we say that it's not a problem. He'll be able to shecht.
What do you mean that sometimes he eats kodesh?
He's a person.
Kodesh is born the base of mikdash.
Yeah.
So is this a Kohen we're talking about?
Or a Yisrael. Could be a Kohen, could be a Yisrael that wants to keep his food, that sometimes eats karbanas. A carbon, he could eat a shlamim, he could eat.
I got you.
So, this is someone that keeps all his food tar, and we have rules about that. So, how do I say? How does he do this? It says maybe saken arucha. He brings a long knife. And he usually shechs with the long knife. Why does he have a long knife? Because he doesn't want to touch the meat. If he shechs with a short knife, then he's going to end up touching the meat. If he touches the meat, he's going to make the meat tamei. Soon the Gemara is going to ask, 1 second, you should really be making the knife tamei, and the knife is going to make the meat tamei. It should work like that. But if it's a metal knife, metal takes on the status of the thing that touches it. So he should really be making it should really end up making the meat tamei as well.
Would it be a lower madrega?
Yeah, one step down. Would go one step down. In other words, it doesn't go down a step from person to metal would stay the same, but metal to the next thing would go down.
Why it stays the same? I thought only by Tumas Mace.
Oh, yeah, okay, by Tumas Mace. By Tumas Meis. The Gemara is going to ask. By Tumas Meis, it should do it.
Yeah, but here it is down, so it's already 2 degrees down. By the time it reaches-
Okay, let's see. We'll see. The Gemara is going to ask.
Hey, how did we read me the first time?
So, Kate said away. So he brings this long knife. But Mekdashim, however, Mekdashim la yishchet. So he's only allowed to hakol sheichtim. What the way the Gemara is now learning this, Rabba Barula is saying, everyone can shecht even if he's tamei. We're talking about chulin that is kept to a high standard. He's still allowed to shecht because he's going to use a long knife. Mekdash the lechatchila is allowed to. Mekdashim la yishchet. But if he wants to shecht something that's kaidesh, not just chulin shenasu al taras, okay, not fake kaidesh, but actual kaidesh. So then, maybe he's going to touch the meat, even though he has a long knife. But we're still more careful. But if he shechts and then he says that I was careful, I didn't touch, it's going to be kosher. So you hear what's going on over here. The hakol sheichtim lechatchila is even if he's tamei, he's allowed to shecht chulin. And then shchitas and kashera is by mukdashin, even though he shouldn't have been shechting mukdashin because he's tamei. But because he says that I was careful not to touch it, it's going to be acceptable. Yeah, I wrote on
So
that.
he's not doing that for a korban? No, he's just doing it for playing the barbecue.
There's two possibilities. One is he did it for a barbecue, but it's chulin shenas al taras hakodesh. He said that lechatchila is allowed to shech. Other one is it's a korban.
But if it's a korban, how's he do smicha?
No, he wasn't doing the smicha. He's the sheichet.
Oh, so someone else does the kohen,
Yeah.
another kohen does this.
Yeah, or the owner does the smicha. The owner does the smicha. He's just he has a long knife, and he's stretching it into where the animal is, and he's shechting it with the long knife. So we say that the lechatchila you shouldn't do that. Shouldn't get so close. Rashi brings. You need an extra guarding. It says like we tell a nazir that he should go around the vineyard. You tell him don't walk through the vineyard. Okay, now we're up to the next part of the Mishnah. It says chutz mecheir sheitav v'katan. Cheir sheitav v'katan should not shech. Dafila b'chulin gredi di'avenamilai. But even by chulin itself, plain chulin, even if he's not, we're going back on what we were saying before, that it's chulin shenasu al taras hakodesh. He said even plain chulin. Greda means plain, as it is, alone. So even such chulin alone, it's even b'diavad it's not acceptable. Shema yishu, shema yijusu, shema yachlidu. It's interesting. It only lists 3 out of the 5 possible problems. Yishu is maybe he paused when he shechted. Yijusu is maybe he pressed down while he was shechting. You're not allowed to chop by the shechita. You have to only do the forward, backward motion. You can't press. And shema yachlidu is maybe it was covered over when the knife was going in. Maybe like push the skin that it should cover the knife. You can't do that.
Is pressing always done with 2 hands?
No, even one hand is a problem. If you use 2 hands, it's a problem because you probably pressed. That's what the Gemara is going to say later. That there's a knife that had 2 handles that had a problem, I think. But there's a cheese knife like that. It has 2 handles. You chop
Used to have the giant swords where they cut trees on each side and they bring back.
Seymour.
Yeah. So here we're saying 3 things. So Rashi says, why didn't we say the other ones? I'm sorry, not Rashi. Taisva says, why don't we say Hagrama, where you go in and you cut backwards, or Iker when you pull it out? He says over there you'd be able to tell afterwards. These are things that you can't know afterwards if it was done wrong. You don't know if the person paused in middle and continued the shechita. You never know. So So by these we suspect that maybe he did it wrong. So it's going to be treif if you have a chayre straight to the cotton doing this.
That's why we have the witness.
The kulin sheshachtu. The kulin sheshachtu is if they're in all of them that shech, and other people are watching them, then it's going to be kosher. The Gemara says, "Ahei, who are you talking about?" And you say kulin sheshachtu, all people that shech. Ilay macher straight to the cotton. If you say we're talking about the people that we just mentioned, that the chayre straight to the cotton and adlar shech, and all of them that shech. Yeah. It says Allah kai. That's what we're referring to. You don't have to say in all of them that shech. You don't even have to. It's not that you don't have to repeat it, but you don't even need the pronoun. You could just say, and if they did, not in all of them that did, because we're talking about the chayre straight to the cotton. So just say, and if they did, if they did, if they shechted, why to say v'kulan in all of them? So ella atame b'chulin. We're going back on someone that's tamei that shechts chulin. So we say that that's going to be kosher. That's v'kulan. It says ha'amet lechatchila namishach, but you told me tamei by chulin lechatchila you're allowed to. So what are you telling me now that if other people are watching them, well, you don't need other people watching. They were lechatchila allowed to shech. Ella atame b'mekdashin. Rather, we're saying like this, that we said b'di'evet it's not good if someone tamei shechs kodesh karban, because we made a gezerah that he's going to end up no, not b'di'evet it's not good. He said lechatchila you should not do it. We made a gezerah that you shouldn't, a tamei person shouldn't shech. However, but if he's shechted, we said that it's going to be kosher. That's the word shchitasan kshera was referring to someone tamei that shechted. The Gemara says, so here we need someone that's watching. So other people are watching, it's going to be good. You need other people that's watching. The bari lisagi. All you need is him to say that he did it acceptable and it's going to be good. We said shchitasan kshera. We didn't mention that you needed other people. Why over here are you saying that in that case you need other people? That we didn't say that before. Where it says the lesser command in a shaila. We're talking about where the guy's not here. This tamei, he disappeared. It's going to be acceptable if other people are here. Of course, we can ask him. Very interesting Mishnah now. Go back. It says Hakol Sheichtem is referring to the tamei person shechtim chulin. Shchitasan kshera is referring to someone that's tamei that shechts kodesh, where you can ask him, it's all good. Chayr sheitu v'katan and not let a shecht chulin. Shem yikalklo shchitasan with the three possibilities. Chulin sheshachtu, the tamei person that shechted a karban and he's not here, and they tell us that he did it okay, it's going to be good. There's a lot going on.
Achera meaning you have to have two witnesses.
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't mean two. I think acherim is like the collective though. And someone else is there.
What if there was just one witness?
It should be enough.
Since what? I thought there's only a few cases where one witness is.
Yeah, exactly. This should be a case like a woman.
Why?
Because it's Eidach and Naman Bisur. Yeah, it should be one witness. Tosfos over here says that if he's not here to ask him, then we have to rely on other people. Tosfos says, why do you have to rely on other people? The Azara, it says in another Gemara that the Azara is considered a Rishus Rabbim. We had in the first page of Nida, said that say that a Safek Tuma Rishus Rabbim is tar. So you have a question, if he touched it, we would say that it's tar. It's a Rishus Rabbim. Safek Tuma Rishus Yachid is Tamei, but the Azara is a Rishus Rabbim. So why do you need other people to be there? It's automatically tar. Because it's only a suffix if he touched it, and right, because he was using a long knife, so it should be tar anyway. He says, well, it's not a real suffix over here because usually he would touch it, but it makes the suffix would be like 50-50. It's not a 50-50. This is like a 99. to one.
He's not here now, right?
He's not here.
So it's a sveka.
Why is it a sveka?
Because there's one suffix.
But
And
why?
then we don't know, maybe if he were here, he might say something else.
No.
No?
It doesn't work like that. The suffix is, did he touch it? That's the suffix. Not what he would have told us if he did. There's only one suffix, is, did he touch it? Right? So we're saying that that's not a good suffix because it's the majority of the times he probably would, which tells me that if you have a majority, but you also have a minority, do you consider that a suffix or do you consider that a bandai? What's a majority? When you type a keli, right? So you say a bracha, say al tfilas kelim, al tfilas kelim. Say a bracha. Why? Because it was made by a non-Jew. Let's say you don't know it was made in China. You don't know it. You know, I think there's only like 15,000 owners in China, companies. It's all owned by other people. So how do you know, like, who's the owner of that thing? You know, so the suffix. But 1 second, majority of the people in the world that own the companies are not Jewish people. So do we say that the majority means that it's a badai? Suffix brachas lahakal. So do you say a bracha when you type a keli that it's a suffix if it's owned by a Jew? You don't know if it's a Jew. Majority, it's not Jewish. So is the majority make it not a suffix anymore? Or is it still a suffix? Taisva seems to say the Rav Pamam Leichli is our miliga, so it's not a suffix. Rav, the majority tells me that it's not a suffix. According to that, it's not a suffix. Then you should say a bracha. I'm extrapolating here, but that's the discussion. There's different opinions about saying a bracha when you taiva. Yeah, Rabbi Handel, Allah Hashem, said not to say bracha because you don't know who's the owner. You don't know who owned the company when they made it. You only have to say a bracha if it was owned by a non-Jew. If a Jew makes the vessel, you don't say a bracha. You don't have to taiva it at all. You shouldn't say a bracha. Okay, so we're saying of it less come on. Okay, he's not there, so therefore we rely on other people. The Gemara asks, "Hi tamei b'mikdashin mehacha nafka." You want to say that this Mishnah is the one that's teaching me that if someone that's tamei should not be shechting, but we can trust other people. It says mehasam nafka. We have another source for this. It says kol apsulim sheshachtu shchitasim kshera. Anyone that's invalid that shechted, talking about by a karban, it's still going to be good. Shashchita kshera b'zarim, because you can use a zar. You don't need a kayan for shchita. B'nashim, it could even be a woman that could shech. Ba'avadim, by slaves could shech. Not could, but if they shechted, it's kosher. Ubitmeim, afilu b'kachi kachim. Even someone tamei, even if it's kachi kachim, where it's shechted on the north, it's special. All the special halachas over there by shechting. Nevertheless, you could use a tamei person to shecht, not lechatchila, but b'diavad. So why are you telling me this Mishnah that we're learning from it, that we're talking about a tamei person? We have another Mishnah clearly that says that Mishnah in Zvachim, that the if a tamei person shecht is kosher. The Gemara answers, here is the main source. Over there, you were making a list, so you threw in that case as well, because you wanted to make you were making like an anthology of all different types of shchitas. You threw you threw our case in there as well. But we're the main source for a tamei person shechting that it's going to be kosher. Or we could say it the opposite. We could say hasamikar. Over there's the main source. The bekachim koi. Acha, over here, I did tani tam b'chul and tani nami tam mikdashin. Over here, this is actually not the main source for this, because we're not talking about kachim. We're not talking about a carbon. This is Masechta Chullin. Welcome to the Chullin Club. This is the Masechta Chullin. It's only that you're mentioning tamei person shechting Chullin that we said, okay, by the way, by kachim, it's also going to work if there's other people watching. Okay. Hi tamei the itmei b'mai. How did this person become tamei? You know what we're getting to over here. That we're saying that the knife it doesn't become tamei to make the flesh of the animal tummy. So, but how did he become tummy? Are we saying that he touched the corpse, which would be an avia vaisatama? So then he touched the corpse. Now he becomes an avatama, right? Since this person touched the corpse, the corpse itself is avia vaisatama, is a grandfather of tama. He becomes a avatama. He becomes a father of tama. What happens with the knife? Is also a father of tama. The tami sakin. The knife becomes tamei. Vasal sakin it's misi lebasar. The knife is an avatama, and avatama makes the food tamei. It makes it into a rishon. Ella. Okay. Ella ditmi b'sharetz. Rather, we're talking about that it became tamei with a sheretz. Now, a sheretz doesn't have the rule. A sheretz is a dead, creeping creature that doesn't have the rule of cheref or kachol. So therefore, if he becomes tummy with the sheretz, it works like this: that the sheretz is an avatama. The person touched the sheretz, he becomes a rishon latama. A rishon latama cannot make a vessel tummy; he can only make food tummy. So if he avoids touching the food, avoids touching the flesh, then it's going to be tahar. Even though he's touching the knife, it's touching the flesh, but it's no problem because the knife is a block on the tumah, because a rishon, a vlada tumah, can only make food tummy. It can't make a vessel or a person tummy. So since he was tummy with the sheretz, so it's one step down.
Sheretz has to be dead?
Yeah, sheretz is dead.
So if it's alive, it doesn't.
No.
What if it looks dead? Like those iguanas in the cold.
Yeah, there's only 8 shratim that give off tumah. Other animals that die give off a tumas nevela, but those are the larger animals that die. From the creeping small animals, it's only these 8 special 8. If you want, we can say it a little different. We can say, really, he became tameh with a corpse. Now we have a problem. He became tameh with the corpse. Then he should be making the knife tameh, which makes the food tameh. Talking about that he used the reed to shech. Yeah, he got a wooden knife. The reed, a knife that's made from sawgrass. Right?
Sawgrass.
Sawgrass is sharp. That's what it's called, saw, right?
It's like a bamboo, no?
A bamboo. Do they have bamboo knives today?
No, these are like,
Like
this
a
is
sharp
what
edge.
bamboo is.
You break off bamboo with sharp.
Yeah.
I know. It's also hard to break.
So yeah, you can make these things sharp. The coconut shell also, you can make it sharp. Yeah.
So all good things to know for our deserted island.
So the Tanya was taught in a brayso, bakol sheichtim. You can use anything to shecht. Bein b'tzur, whether a tzur, which is a flintstone. Bein b'schuchas, whether it's a piece of glass, you can use that. Bein b'krum shel kana, or you can use a reed. Okay, let's leave it over here.
Oh,
reed to shecht. Reed to shecht means that it's not going to be except tumah. Okay, we're up to Abaya. Have a great day, everyone.